Welcome to another day in the Matrix. Waters above crypto. Well, Bitcoin's having a good day today. I wonder why. Well, for those of you that have been following my work for a while, you know the answer. Today is the new moon, the time for bullish energy in Bitcoin, and with dominance showing signs of a reversal, it's all coming to life in the charts, just like we anticipated this month to play out. Remember, on October 1st, I told everyone that October is the month of surprises. And in today's video, I'm going to start out with a little Gematria decode and follow up with Bitcoin and XRP to share some price levels to expect during the rest of this week. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria Numerology and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious people to help grow this community. And for those of you that want to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, you can join my Mastermind course. My email's in the description box to get in contact with me for access to the course. And with that being said, today we're taking the clear pill. None of this red pill stuff. So let's get to today's date. Numerology as 10/6/2021. That gives us the 12. I'm just going to do a little recap of my last video just to give you guys some insights. And if you're new to this channel, kind of catch you up on what we're doing here. So this added up to 12. And of course, everything in this matrix reality works in a mirroring effect. As above, so below. As within, so without. And this 12 can also be perceived as the 21, the mirror of 12. And that all goes back to Saturn with the 21s. And Saturn is very powerful because we are in the year of Saturn, the year 21 in the 21st century. And of course, that's all make-believe, but that's the time they give us. So we're working with that. Now, another way I was adding up the dates that I've shown everyone before is as 10 plus 6 plus 20 plus 21. And this is giving us the 57. And that 57 number is extremely powerful because it's coming back to these guys in our Chaldean cipher, Jesuit order. And also a couple people are asking me, well, what else are we seeing that 57 in? Why else is it so powerful? And I forget to bring this up sometimes, but it's simple. It's in the moon. That's what's giving the gravity to this market, everyone. And what else do we have with moon? We have that 21. Okay? Let's pay close attention to what's going on here because we've proven it month after month after month. And it's not even necessarily about me. It's just about how we've simplified this whole market by just following the moon. And that is why we call ourselves wolves. So right now we're seeing that 57. It's showing up in moon, which is clear as day because that's what's running the energy of this market up or down month by month. And we're getting that 21, of course, being tied back to Saturn. And another thing is this 23. That 23 is coming right back to Bitcoin because that's what's going on here. Bitcoin is moving the energy of this market. And when Bitcoin starts to get its dominance back, especially above 45% or more, once it breaks 50%, it really, really starts to take off. So the show's just getting started, everyone. We still have a full moon coming up soon, and I anticipate that will bring a slight pullback for Bitcoin and also a slight pullback for the altcoins. But predominantly, we just have to look at this market from the overall big picture, which is new all-time highs for Bitcoin very, very soon. In the big picture, we can't get too caught up in this day-to-day action because it's just... Honestly, if the market's green, I'm not even excited. I get excited when I see red. So that's always why when I'm giving my analysis, I'm giving both directions. A lot of people mistaked my last video as me saying we will get a pullback, we will come back, and that's not how I work. I don't care if this market goes up, down, sideways, left, right. It doesn't matter when we're looking at the day-to-day. It is the overall picture. Pretty much you could have bought Bitcoin after the Rosh Hashanah dip, moving into the September full moon, and then you could have just went into hibernation until December, woke up, and you would see the answer. And that's kind of what I want people to do. Some people, because they might be full-time in crypto, they might be getting too lost in the day. And ultimately, it just is what it is. We should be taking the time in our day to study the charts, learn. But when it comes to wanting price to come down or wanting it to go up, that's not how markets work. You just have to accept what you were given. And we are doing our best here to decode this market so that it's not only about the chart, it's also about this more esoteric side of things. And here's why I'm breaking this down the way that I break down almost every day. Those of you that used to watch my videos, a couple months ago, I wasn't so adamant about starting with these decodes. There'd be some days where I wouldn't even do it. But I'm doing this to help. I'm doing this to share. I'm doing this to get people to open up their minds to what's really running this market. And it's beautiful that this community has grown so much. I appreciate all of you. We're seeing how this all comes to play. Let's see how this full moon plays out. Don't get too lost in the day-to-day. That's really the message behind today's video. So, what else can we say about this? Well, another thing I was thinking about is how tomorrow is the day of Jupiter. So we were discussing how we have new moon, which is today's date, and this new moon matches the same ciphers as Jupiter. And tomorrow is Thursday or Thor's day, and that would be the day of Jupiter, Jueves. And you can see right here, when I press enter, which is a little trick you can do, we have Jupiter new moon 99, 36, 90s, and then we also even have a match with the 27s. The 27 can be mirrored, and that brings us back to 72, and that's Bitcoin in the English ordinal cipher, okay? 72 being half of a 144, and 144 being a very powerful number in my work. So one of the things that we could also bring up is just this term. It's basic, but Jewish, and this is giving us that 21 in Chaldean, and this is one of the main players in this financial sector, one of them, okay? And this is through the city of London, not Israel. The city of London is this, okay? Understand that. So what's going on here is we have the 21, and this is directly tied to Saturn, just like I started out with the beginning of this video. And the 21 mirrored comes back to 12, like today's date numerology being the 12. And this 12 is reflecting in the calendar, in the Gregorian calendar, as the month of December. And this December spelled out gives us the 55. Where do we see that 55? We see it in Satoshi Nakamoto, in the full reduction and the Chaldean cipher, which is the most pure. We know that Saturn, Satoshi Nakamoto is Saturn, or Father Time. And Father Time is directly matching back to that 57, like we were talking about earlier, and that 39 that we're getting in new moon in the same cipher, okay? Because the new moon is what's giving us that bullish energy. It's all about timing, okay? This is the gravity of the market. It is Isis. Isis is the gravity of our market with the 56. That 56 coming back to Society of Jesus, okay? So there's a lot to consider here, but one more thing I was thinking about was this transition between November and December, because I keep telling everyone I'm expecting a new all-time high for Bitcoin around 144,000 in the first week of December, predominantly on the eclipse of December, which is the December new moon. Now, this is that transition that I'm talking about is Hanukkah. So we're going to show you right here. Hanukkah is giving us that 27. And remember that 27 is coming back to Bitcoin with the 72, but directly to Jupiter in the same cipher, 27. The Jewish holiday is under the cult of Jupiter, okay? It's in the language, it's clear in front of our face. Coming back to Hanukkah, what's really special about this is that 42, because that 42 basically directly ties us back to Saturn in the same cipher. But here's what's even more incredible. Hanukkah in the year 5782, which is what the current Hebrew year is, gives us the 97. And that 97 is the 25th prime number. Where do we connect that to? BTC, the ticker, which is the logo of the sun, which if you look at the logo of the Society of Jesus, it is a sun, which comes back to soul. Okay? 56, Society of Jesus. This is absolutely incredible how this is all coded in 5782, and we're getting the 97 with the 25th prime, as above, so below, 52. And the year 5782 is the 22, Master Builder, Master Destroyer, coming back to Shiva. And we could keep breaking this down more and more and more as we go. But more importantly, do you see where this is going? Hanukkah is going to be a very special time for Bitcoin, and it'll be when most of the bigger altcoins start to catch up, probably breaking new all-time highs as well. But alt season is predominantly when Bitcoin finishes its run into the middle of December and then onwards of early January. So let's do some TA. I want to make this one a little quicker today because the prices are just extremely bullish. I have a lot of work to do. I'm currently working on my advanced trading course. I'm trying to finish that up really soon. I will also be launching a new website. That's really exciting because the course is going to run through my own website. And then it'll also prevent anyone out there who's been sort of wondering about how to access my work a little easier, because I've been mostly accepting PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. Now there's going to be a full-blown payment processor for people all around the world to be able to access my course. Again, I really apologize for those of you that have been wanting to purchase the course and educate yourself, but just the payment method hasn't been working out for you. Been having a ton of people lately from India following my work, Korea, Japan, China. Much love to all of you. I am so happy to see the wolf pack growing worldwide. It's been amazing because on my spiritual journey, I always come across other enlightened people, and the number one thing they say is, it's so sad that I have no people that live near me that feel the way I do. Well, just know, this is global. And by the end of this year, we're going to be in the 40, 50, 60,000 subscribers, and it's all going to be people that are like-minded just like you. And that is my mission, to have a global team of people that are all under the same high vibrational frequency, that are trying to get out of this New World Order trap. And this financial side of it right now is one of the ways we can do it. And I'm here to help. So what we're seeing today is clearly bullish price action, but I just want to recap on our moons so we can see every time we're getting this new moon, we're peaking out. Sometimes we peak out directly around the time of it, like right here in March, right here in April, and essentially right here in May before a bigger correction. Then we had 2 back-to-back eclipses, very normal. And then this relief rally into the start of Shemitah. Shemitah was the night of it started on the night of Rosh Hashanah, which we got a very solid pullback, called that nicely, and then lows on the full moon. Now, what we're seeing here is an actual reversal. Okay, so we have lows, higher low, of course, and then we saw our highs followed by a high, and then now we've just made another high. So in the micro, we are actually starting a trend reversal. This is exactly what we should anticipate after having this blue buy signal flash on the hash ribbons indicator, which I told my community about at length. So I was very adamant about Bitcoin not going below 38,000 ever again, because this buy signal has worked pretty much like 97-98% of the time out of a 12-year chart history. It's a pretty good track record. So what we're seeing here is it's working like a charm. We are on the night of the new moon, so this black dot hasn't shown up yet until after today's closure. And then we need to just give it a rest and see what's to come. Is this going to keep pumping a little bit? Because we typically see the new moons, and essentially if we pump up before the day of a new moon, we start a downtrend. Here you can see we actually had a new moon and we continued through it. And what was this time? This was Mercury retrograde. Okay, we just had Mercury retrograde, and we had one over here too, but this one is much more like the one we're getting now, where you can see structure breaking, very bullish. This one was choppy sideways, still an incredible buying opportunity. next year and moving forward, probably after 2023, I'm going to be using Mercury retrograde as a buying indicator because it's so solid. I don't really care too much about that stuff in regards to zodiac. I'm not really about that, but when it comes to the charts, always pretty solid. Mercury retrograde around these full moons, textbook. So what we're seeing right here, this nice move, it's very akin to what we're getting now, breaking structure. We do need to discuss some price levels to understand the overall energy of this, but I told everyone in the month of October, we're going to see not only Bitcoin start to go bullish, we're also going to see the Bitcoin dominance start to reverse. So remember this chart, and I just want to quickly talk about dominance because that is an important factor into what's going on here. So let me turn off these moons because it's irrelevant on this chart. I drew out this W for everyone in my community. I posted it and it's working out beautifully. So essentially the way I had this going is an uptrend through November into December, and then I believe that it will peak out we don't know how bullish this can get, by the way, because once this neckline breaks on this W, then it'll be a measured move, and if we break out of log, I could quickly show you how to do this. We would just be moving from neckline down to, I like to go to the higher low just to be conservative, especially on something like dominance, because it's not necessarily price action, it's just the amount of liquidity that's in this particular coin, Bitcoin, and then we move it up to around the neckline, and that's showing me about 58. 58 would be pretty massive, but I still think it could go probably back to this upper trend line, this upper resistance. And right here was during last New Year. So this recent New Year into 2021, when we started, that was when it peaked really high, really fast. You could see over here, September, it bottomed out, and then it moved up into November. That is exactly what just happened. September bottomed out and now it's moving up. This is just an algorithm, guys. All we're doing here on this channel is we're accepting what the algorithm gives us. It's very plain and simple. This market is completely just fugazi. Fundamentals don't matter. Evergrande doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. ISO 20022, it doesn't matter. What matters is the ritual, and we are watching the ritual play out. For those of you that have a pineal gland that could accept that, you're here for a reason. For those of you that don't resonate with that, stay broke. Anyways, so this W breakout that we're getting, it's probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen leading into November, and we just have to wait and see. And when that happens, it's going to be a beautiful buying opportunity for the altcoins. So what we're seeing today is just really nice bullish price action for Bitcoin, but something's got to give. Eventually, we're probably going to see that full moon energy kick in. It's just when. Remember, on Rosh Hashanah in September 7th, we did see almost an immediate reaction. Once the new moon was over on September 7th, we got a nice little pullback. So let's revisit this chart. I do have some fibs. Apologies, I meant to revisit this chart because that was the long-term price action clean chart that we have. So we know that these moons are working out really nicely, and we just have to see whether are we going to get pullback that's dramatic into that full moon. I believe we're going to hold structure. So of course we have some targets, and I'm just going to quickly label them. The first most obvious one is right here. When we're talking about pullbacks, it would be around 53K. The reason why? It was the recent highs. Retesting recent highs is very normal. Breaking below recent highs is also very normal. So we would have this level right here, essentially the wick low on today's price action. That's about 50K. Then we have the next level, which is a noticeable resistance level going back most of August into early September. That would be around 50K flat, 49K, and anything around 48. So let's pull up some moving averages and we're going to see what's going on here. So first and foremost, we have this bullish cross. I talk to you guys about that all the time. You can see this 8 simple moving average has crossed above the 55. That is extremely bullish. When this happens, that's essentially something where I just anticipate up. Any retests or just buying opportunities, it doesn't matter. This is one of the best times to buy. Now, I'm not saying you should buy today. I'm just letting you know this is the time to buy. We actually got that cross moving into 49,000, and today we've hit 54K. Or 55K. So even on a scalp, that would have been a pretty dramatic move to buy that cross. And that's on the daily, guys. That's important. So that's one thing, check bullish. Let me turn that off and let's look at where our 21 is. So our 21 is right there sitting around 47K. It's catching up. At this time, I am essentially feeling that Bitcoin's probably never going to go below 45K ever again. That's probably it. We're probably never going to go below that level forever. I know that sounds a little dramatic. Remember what I always say, anything is possible in the matrix, but I'm lowering the probability of that happening at this time just because of what this breakout has shown us. What I said in my last video was me giving price targets. It's not me saying what will happen. That's what a good analyst does. A good analyst tells you downside targets and upside targets. A bad analyst is one that's only focused on their bias. I have an overall bias, which is end of the bull run in December with $144,000 Bitcoin, and I will trade off of my bias. But when it comes to the day-to-day, I just take what the market gives me, because ultimately we buy the full moons. I'm not waiting for green. I'm getting in when it's red and bloody, and we had literally 10 straight days to buy the dip. So for people that want to buy now because you didn't want to take advantage of this because you thought it was going lower, you haven't even created your own bias yet, and that's problematic. You know, it's not only about my technical analysis, it's about your technical analysis. That's what I'm trying to teach people. I'm trying to teach people that I'm just giving you the tools. Your higher self will help you use those tools. But at the end of the day, this isn't a cult. This isn't me saying it's my way is the only way. I'm open-minded as well. And that's why I've gotten to a position where I just say, I'll take what the market gives me. I'm not really wanting anything in this market anymore. I de-risked back on September, and I de-risked my entire portfolio back up here. So I'm just chilling now, and I could focus on educating and helping people, and less about helping myself. You know, that's really where I stand now in this market. It's a beautiful thing to be able to be alleviated from the pressures of this market to actually help. You know, that's really what I'm about. And that's why I worry sometimes when people get really emotional on dips, because I just look at it as an opportunity, and I'm always screaming from the mountains telling people this is an opportunity. So we just have to see how this reacts. Downside targets would be 53 for this level. Then, of course, we have a noticeable structure around 49. And then we have our 21, which is a moving average that we typically backtest. We could hang out at these levels sideways, though, around this 50K level, all the way up until the full moon. And because Bitcoin historically breaks new all-time highs before the end of October in both bull runs, the bull run of 2017 and the bull run of 2013, this is telling me this time might not be any different. Of course, we have a full moon coming in at the end of the month. It comes in on the 20th. So if Bitcoin wants to break more bullish to the upside, I have to give you guys some upside targets and a little bit of a scenario that's in play. So the standard area of resistance would just be around here, and it was noticeable because it was just topping out, and then it kept trading around this level, peaking up slightly above it, but only for a week or so each time. That's showing that around that 56, 57K level, again, remember the beginning of my video, 56 and 57 come back to the Society of Jesus. So it's no wonder why we're getting that resistance there. Again, we saw $55,000 today. Even some charts were exactly 55,500. That 55 comes back to Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, so what we're seeing here is these numbers are just clearly ritual. The next upside target after this would be, you know, once we break all-time highs, it's 72,000. Why is it 72? Well, it comes back to Bitcoin. We already passed 63K. We already passed 45K. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is just around this 56, 57 area. And if we were to pull some fibs, we can get a lot more clarity. So I'm going to go from swing high to swing low, show you guys exactly how I do this. I don't normally do TA like this in my videos, so I think this will be pretty special for you guys. So you can see where we've peaked up is actually still below the 786. That 786 is trading around 57,200. Note that this is a Bybit chart. So I'm showing you on a inverse perpetual contract chart, which has leverage. So these prices are a little bit skewed due to leverage, but for the most part, not that far off. So what we're seeing here is we haven't actually closed any dailies above that 786. This is telling me that a back test of the 618 is also still in the cards. Again, that 51,000 level. You can see that these three moving averages are actually coming up to around the 0.5 fib. That is what is giving me more confidence of not breaking below 54 again. Okay, so this is a weird time in the market because what we've seen in the last bull run and the bull run before that, out of nowhere, we could have very volatile days where you wake up and you're like, what the fuck? Like where the price is down 11%. and you have no idea why. And then the next day it recovers fully. These are shakeouts. The shakeouts are very normal during a bull run. I'll show you right here because we've lived through a couple. For those of you that were in crypto starting the beginning of the year, on the way up, we got things like this. So you see that day right there? From wick high down to wick low. Excuse me. From wick high down to wick low, we saw fucking 17%, man. And people would have freaked out on this day, but what happened? If you would have caught that dip, you still had about 50% gains in the next 5 days. That is what happens during bull runs. When we start getting real bullish, we have really random days where we just go red. So this is why I'm letting you guys know these types of dips happen where we just violently come down, and that's how bull runs end. Bull runs end very, very violently, volatile, up, down, but the down is opportunity. That's what I keep saying. So just keep an eye on the 786. You can set an alert there. I'll do it live in this video, and that'll help me kind of gauge once we start breaking above that level, what are we going to do? And when we break above that level, are we going to close above it? Because I suspect the moment Bitcoin closes a daily above that 786 fib, we're going to retest all-time highs pretty soon. And you can see there's thin air between 57 and 65. Thin air. Not much going on. And remember, 65,000 is just the reverse of 56. Coming back to the Society of Jesus. So these numbers are obvious, and it's not only about Society of Jesus, it's Bitcoin, you know? 56 reversed is 65. So of course that was our resistance level. Think about it, guys. It's all by the code. It's all Gematria. Has nothing to do with the news or Twitter or any of that shit. So let's move on quickly to XRP because I gave downside targets and upside targets. Right now we have thin air between here and all-time highs. It's just about where do we start closing, where are we holding supports, and of course our overall thesis is by November we should be seeing all-time highs. Very early November, the latest. So let's move on to XRP. We're seeing XRP start to recover a little bit from the day being down just because of Bitcoin having a massive liquidity spike. This tends to happen, and then once Bitcoin chills out a little bit, that liquidity will flow into the alts. It's just when does this energy get severed? That's the interesting part, because let me just type in really quickly what tomorrow is, okay? And you guys know it's the 13, man. And that's another number they love to ritualize. So just be careful. Like, these numbers are interesting. I'm not calling this a negative number. I'm not saying we will dip tomorrow. I'm just being open-minded, you know? And again, it furthers the energy of just letting the market give you a full moon. Instead of trying to get fancy buying random red days, just wait for the full moon because that gives you the overall energy. Now, what I'm seeing with XRP is actually a little healthier because you see these wicks right here actually back tested the previous resistance. That's much more healthy. So if I was to show you on a breakout level basis from wick high down to here, we're looking at a measured move somewhere into the $1.20 region if this wanted to play a W here. Now, this could also be fortuitous because the 8th is the 14 and the 9 is the 15, and that comes back to XRP. 1415 right there. So that's possible. I'm not saying it will happen, but this is me showing you how to use the code. Okay, so that would be very interesting, especially if Bitcoin rolled over a little bit and then gave some liquidity to the altcoins. So there's a little bit of an upside target there, but I think these alts are going to be predominantly sideways across the board until this month comes to a conclusion. So what does sideways mean? Between highs and between lows. Everything in the middle is sideways. And when we're in crypto, sideways could be very volatile, like this. Huge candles up and down, right? So that's what sideways means. I'm not anticipating any new highs for XRP at the end of this month. I am anticipating new highs for Bitcoin by November. XRP, I still think will be below $2 in the month of November until the very end. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but that is the call. Now on the downside, we do have possibility of 86 cents again, but I'm less likely to expect that. I think if there's anything, we might see a little bit of this around that full moon. That's about it. But I think it'll be structured, meaning higher lows. So what that tells me is we have low there. That means higher lows. I'm not anticipating dramatic, huge corrections at this time below structure, meaning nothing below that 236 fib ever again. That was it. And that would be how bull runs typically end. This could also be considered, if it was to come down to that region again, just a big double bottom, in structure before continuation. So we're about half an hour in. I gave some upside targets and some downside targets. I'm not really too worried right now what happens. I really just don't care. I'm waiting for the moon. So we're in the new moon. Let the bullish energy fulfill itself, and then it's all about the full moon for me. I am 100% focused on buying opportunities right now. I am not anticipating the end of the bull run early. I suspect Hanukkah, around that Hanukkah transition of November. So we still have time, guys. This is just the most fun, relaxing time for us because we've been calling it over and over and over. I just want to keep people calm right now. Don't FOMO into these green candles. Relax. It's all good in the hood. Okay. So for those of you that have been wanting to get some more exclusive content, join the Patreon. I have the Mastermind community. It is beautiful to see we actually got over 2,000 members. I appreciate every single one of you. That's at patreon.com/watersabove. And I'm looking forward to that trading course moving into November so the trading wolves can be launched and we could start to make some gains in this market actively while we're watching our portfolios go up every single day. It's going to be amazing. And also, if anyone wanted to reach out to me for the Mastermind course, you can feel free to email me whenever you like. Enjoy the rest of your day in this matrix. Much love.